And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Today's hazardous weather graphic showing a high wind warning continues out for the Alaska Range for tonight into tomorrow for winds gusting to 75 miles per hour from the south. Also, high wind warning out for the Anchorage area, Palmer, Anchorage Hillside there, turning an arm until 9 p.m. this evening for winds gusting over 65 miles per hour. And then winter storm warnings out here for the Yukon Delta, lower Yukon River Valley areas, northward here into the Kobuk Valley, and then back to the west into the Noatak Valley there and along the northwest coast, all the way up to Point Lay. That's a winter storm warning for snow and blowing snow, reducing visibilities in those areas. Looking at satellite imagery, you can see a good fetch of moisture coming from off the picture here northward, and really not moving any direction except from south to north here. And so that pulling a lot of moisture and continuous snowfall over the interior here, all the way up to the western Arctic coast, expected to continue, and then begin to edge westward on, let's see, Thursday. It'll start pulling back to the west as a warm front. Big area high pressure here, and a lot of thick cirrus middle high level cloudiness coming over the top of that ridge that's actually extending up over the eastern interior there. And a weak system out here to the west, bringing some light snow into the western Aleutian areas. Otherwise, behind this front, temperatures markedly colder than in advance of it, with the gusty south winds there, winds more west or west-northwest, and temperatures down to the teens and 20s with lighter winds. A lot of dry conditions with some pretty good sunshine breaking out over the southern southeast coast here into the Queen Charlotte, as well as British Columbia. On the chart, a couple of low centers tracking northward here. First one up there approaching the northwest coast. This next one tracking into the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta area. With the front roughly in this position mid-afternoon today. Rain, gusty winds Kodiak Island. And again, the gusty winds anywhere from gusting 35 to 70 miles an hour here. Mostly strongest from about the Alaska Range and off to the east there into Turnagain Arm area, and then on up into the Alaska Range where the warnings are. Otherwise, high pressure over the Yukon, dry conditions, light winds for the Panhandle, a lot of cloudiness, mid and high level clouds over the eastern interior. Otherwise, pretty dry in that location as well, but areas of snow from the western Arctic coast all the way down into Bristol Bay, kind of mixing with rain here along the front, but turning back to snow for the area from Togiak, Dillingham, and down to the Alaska Peninsula. Not much going on out over the Bering Sea, kind of a couple of week lows and a couple of 1 week high there with some snow showers scattered around. And that tonight, that area of high pressure moves to the eastern and southeast Bering Sea there. So light winds and basically dry conditions here for the eastern Aleutians to the Pribilof Islands. Drying out along the southwest coast here as this front tries to edge eastward a little bit here. And then you can see the southeast flow, that's going to begin pushing it back to the west. But for tonight, it's going to extend all the way up to the western Arctic coast, bringing the winter storm warning conditions into the western Arctic coast to about Point Lay back to the west. And again, that extending southward here with periods of snow occurring for much of the western interior from the Aleutian Range right up to the western Arctic coast. Some light snow may reach the central Arctic coast there, but the Brooks Range will block most of that moisture out. Dry in the east and diminishing winds slowly tonight for south central Alaska, as well as over toward the Alaska Range there. And winds start to pick up a little bit, become a little more breezy out of the northeast there for areas of the southeast coast. Otherwise staying dry and mostly clear with variable mid and high level clouds. And for tomorrow, look for some good clearing here over the eastern and southeast interior. Dry to the north, and now we have this warm front Wednesday pushing slowly back to the west, and still an area of snow with it from the Brooks Range here right on down into Bristol Bay and the Alaska Peninsula. And again, winter storm warnings in these areas. Scattered snow showers over the eastern Bering Sea, and rain starting to end for Kodiak Island as this band shifts back to the west here as this low comes onto the picture. And then that comes due north, and by Thursday afternoon it'll be positioned roughly south of the Alaska Peninsula. Gale force winds and rain back into Kodiak Island. Periods of snow continue over the western part of the state, and variably cloudy, isolated snow showers in the central interior, and mostly sunny, dry for the east side here. A little breezy there for Delta Junction, but nothing too strong. Actually, winds losing the high wind warning for the Alaska Range now, and sunshine for the southeast coast with winds not too bad. Out over the Bering Sea, lots of snow showers that pick up to just light snow, periods of snow here for the western Aleutians with that weak low north of Amchitka Island. Lows for tonight, you can see a band of warm air right through here. Temperatures in the 20s for the lows here from Bristol Bay right up into the west central Brooks Range area and North Slope. That's ahead of the front, the gusty winds from the south-southeast there. Then cooling back off as you head east here, a little below zero over toward Northway Hope, and maybe the Yukon Flats, and then down in the single numbers here along the southwest coast from St. Lawrence Island, Nunivak Island toward Bethel, as well as St. Mary's. And then about 20 for the Pribilofs, mid-20s for the Aleutians, or mid to upper 20s. And same thing for the Alaska Peninsula, mid-30s Kodiak Island, a little below zero in the east here, and for the Panhandle, lows 20s and lower 30s. Highs for tomorrow. A lot of sunshine, lows in the 40s for the southern Panhandle, mid-30s to the north. Near 40 for the North Gulf Coast, 45 for Homer and Kodiak. Otherwise, mid to upper 30s again, south central Alaska, and 20s and 30s for the Tanana Valley, all the way up to the Arctic coast. Cooler out here to the west. And for the lows, still above zero there in the Tanana Valley, but 5 to 15 below for the area from, say, Chicken down to Northway and Tok. Yukon Flats falling below zero. Also the western Arctic coast here down in towards St. Lawrence Island, anywhere from 0 to 5 below. Lower 20s for the Pribilofs. Call it 10 degrees for Bethel. And still in the 30s for Bristol Bay. Mid-30s Kodiak Island, followed by highs for Thursday afternoon, 40 to 45 from Kodiak Island up into the southern Kenai Peninsula area, and highs in the 30 to 35 degree range for south central Alaska. In the 30s for the central and northern Panhandle, mid-40s to the south, and anywhere from 5 to 15 for the North Slope and the Arctic coast.